Hey there, I wanted to take a minute today, talk to you about processing down some tinder material. Usually it's something you use for your ferro rod to get it started. Ferro rods are great. I love taking my ferro rod out and starting fires with it. But it's not an open flame. I mean, it's just sparks. So you still need to process down some material to be able to get a fire going. So that's what I want to talk about today, is a couple of things. So, first thing I want to talk about here is Fatwood, or fat lighter, as it's sometimes called. This comes from dead pine trees. It's where the resin condenses in there. It has a very distinct smell. It has a very strong smell when you smell it. The great thing about it is it's very flammable and works very well as a tinder material. So to process this, what I want to do is I want to take my Fatwood stick. I want to take either, if the back of my knife, if I have a 90-degree spine on that, I can use that. Or if I have to, I'll use the blade of my knife. And I'm just going to scrape this down. It's pretty easy. Just come at it, almost like a 90-degree angle in there. Just keep scraping down on it. Whenever I'm finished, what I'm going to have, some very fine pieces here that are very small, and they're also very soft. They're also kind of fluffy and sticky, and they really smell. I mean, you'll be able to definitely tell whenever you have some Fatwood. Now what I want to do, I want to put the tip of my ferro rod down into there. I usually like to strike it a few times off to the side, to make sure that all of the black coating that comes on it's off, or all the oxidation that happens whenever you, after your ferro rod sits. Now, the way I do my ferro rod is I have a striker that comes with it. So I put that striker at about a 45-degree angle. This striker has a little burr on it that really digs into this. I place the end of my ferro rod right down into my material. And now here's the thing that'll take a little bit of practice. I'm going to drive my sparks down into this, but if I go too far, I'm going to hit my material and I'm going to spread my tinder material all over the place. So it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it's a really easy way to use your ferro rod to get a fire started. So I'm just going to 45-degree angle. I'm just going to drive some sparks down into that and until I get it ignited. You'll be able to see this burns with kind of a black smoke coming off of it, but that's just the resins in there. There's no chemicals added or anything like that. This Fatwood is just all natural, and that's just the way it is. So from here, I would take some smaller pieces of kindling and I would add it onto that, and I would keep growing up bigger and bigger in the size of wood that I was adding onto this. You can see this burns very easily, and I would just make a bigger pile of it depending on how long I wanted it to burn. So that was Fatwood. Now the other thing, let's clean this off here. So the next thing I want to show you, up north here, we have a lot of birch trees. Birch is a great, I grew up making fires with birch bark all the time. Birch is great, burns whether it's wet or dry, so if it's pouring down rain, I have a birch tree, I can pull some bark off and still get a fire going. Birch bark lights very easy with a cigarette lighter, but it takes a little bit of preparation to light with a ferro rod. Now I could strike down into this all day long, and I might or might not get it to actually burst into flames, come into flame. But with a little bit of processing, I can almost guarantee that I'll be able to get a flame out of this with just my ferro rod. So what I want to do, just like with the Fatwood, I'm just breaking it down into some smaller pieces and getting more surface area on it. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to grip it up above the sharp part. I want to keep my fingers out from there, but I want to grip onto here so that I can actually scrape this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually just scraping on top of this. This is white birch or paper birch. I really like using this. This works really well. Has a lot of nice bark on it that you can get off the scrapings. Great thing about birch bark, once I get even just a little bit of a flame with my ferro rod, I can actually take these bigger pieces and add to it, and I'll show you that whenever I get this going. I don't necessarily have to have a great big pile of shavings to get a fire going here. So remember, always put your knife back in the sheath if you're not using it. You want to be safe. And so here's my, that's kind of a small pile there. But like I said, the great thing about birch bark is, as I get a flame, I can take my bigger pieces and I can just add them right to it. So you see, that worked really well. It goes really quick. Same as the Fatwood, you can see it's got like a black sooty smoke coming off of it. That's just the natural oils and resins in the bark. There's nothing added to that, just the way it looks. There's lots of birch out there. This was a white or paper birch. And there's also, I have a bucket of water back here in case you're wondering. There's yellow birch, gray birch, paper birch, and river birch. So they all work pretty much the same, but I think I like white birch better. I think that works a lot better. So now they were some natural things you might just find while you're out there. One thing I like to carry with me, this is jute twine. Now jute is natural because it comes from the jute plant, but you usually just buy it in a store. You can buy it in a craft store or any of your big, like Walmart, Supercenters type stores. What I did was I took apart the braids of this piece here I had 4 braids in it, and then I'm going to take each of those braids and break them down even further. And then what I end up with is kind of just like a little hairball. So it's a very fine fibers that I got, and creates a lot of surface area. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when I just light this with my ferro rod. I'm going to save these for something else. Now, same thing, just put end of my ferro rod down into this. One good strike, catches right up. Now the problem is, what I found is the easier something is to ignite, the faster it burns up usually. So, and that's what happened here. You can see that wouldn't have given me any time to actually get a fire going. Now I could have kept processing more and more and had a giant pile of it, and it might have worked. Or what I could do, what I'm going to do is, now that was just one of these strands from that bigger piece of jute that I had. So I'm going to use the same thing, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it with some chapstick. I'm just going to roll out some chapstick here. Just going to pinch it off in there. And now you also have probably heard of cotton balls and Vaseline. That's the same principle here, because I'm just using the jute twine, and the chapstick has petroleum jelly in it usually, or beeswax. Both of those things will work. So when you're picking out your chapstick, make sure you're looking for beeswax or petroleum jelly. I like chapstick because, I use this for fire starting, but I also still have chapstick that I can use. I didn't have to mix this until I actually wanted to get a fire going. So I didn't have to worry about transporting, those messy cotton balls and petroleum jelly around with me. I just carried a piece of the twine, a tube of chapstick, make a fire starter when I need it. Now, I don't need to cover or coat the whole entire ball of jute twine. In fact, I don't want to. I want to leave at least a little bit there that's going to be that easy fire starting. And then what's going to happen is that chapstick actually is a fire extender. So it's not going to help me light this, but once it's lit, it's going to help it burn a lot longer. So you see, still one strike down into that. I was able to get that ignited pretty quickly there. Hopefully you'll be able to see, even already, it's still actually burning longer than that first piece did, and it's still got a lot of time to go. Now, had I used the whole piece of that jute twine and maybe half of this chapstick, I probably could have got a 5 up to 10 minute burn time from this, depending on the conditions outside. So that would give me a lot more time to add my smaller pieces, my kindling on here, to actually get my fire going. So I'm sure there are a lot of different tinder materials out there, but today I just wanted to go over a few and show you how to light them with your ferro rod. So have a great day. Hopefully we'll add some more videos to the channel coming soon. So see you later.